Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a technology that could literally define the future of humanity: artificial general intelligence, or AGI. This is a journey that promises to solve our biggest problems, but, and this is a big but, it also carries risks so profound they're being compared to nuclear war.
Yeah, just let that sink in for a second. That's not a line from some blockbuster sci-fi movie. Nope, that is a direct warning signed by hundreds of the world's top AI researchers and executives. You know, the very people building this stuff. And look, when the creators themselves are sounding an alarm this loud, you gotta listen. The stakes just could not be higher.
So, before we get into all that promise and peril, we have to start with a really fundamental question. What exactly is AGI? What's the destination we're even questing for?
It's a term you hear thrown around everywhere these days. But here's the fascinating part. Even the experts, the people in the labs racing to build it, well, they can't actually agree on a single definition. Turns out, the finish line is still a little bit blurry.
The classic, kind of philosophical definition paints this picture of a machine with truly human-like intelligence. So think about an AI that couldn't just solve a complex physics problem, but could then turn right around, compose a heartbreaking symphony, and then debate the moral implications of its own existence. That's the traditional view.
But then you have the companies on the front lines, places like OpenAI, and they have let's say, a much more pragmatic view. For them, AGI isn't about creating some kind of synthetic philosopher. No way. It's about building a system that can simply outperform humans at most economically valuable work. And that distinction, it's absolutely critical, because it shifts AGI from some far-off, distant dream to what could be a very near-term economic tidal wave. And this is why it's probably better to think of AGI not as some kind of on or off switch, but more like a spectrum. Right now, we're living with narrow AI, systems that are brilliant at one specific thing, like playing chess. The journey from here takes us through more general systems towards what you'd call a full AGI that can outthink any human expert at basically any task. And beyond that, well, that's the theoretical realm of superintelligence, an intelligence so far beyond our own, it's actually hard to even wrap your head around.
So if that's the destination, what does the path to get there look like? It's one thing to define AGI, but actually building it? Well, that presents some of the biggest scientific challenges of our time.
Building AGI isn't just about throwing more computing power at the problem. Researchers are grappling with these really fundamental hurdles. Like, how do you create an AI that can truly learn and adapt on its own without being spoon-fed mountains of perfect data? And maybe even more critically, how do you build in the guardrails to make sure it's safe, reliable, and free from all the hidden biases it might pick up from the vast amounts of human text it's trained on?
This all leads to the central debate in the entire field. Is the path to AI just a matter of scaling up what we have now, more data, faster chips, or have we hit a wall that's going to require a totally new scientific breakthrough to get past? The answer to that question really changes everything.
And because that path forward is so uncertain, we arrive at this huge fork in the road. The development of AGI holds the potential for both a utopian future and a self-inflicted catastrophe. Let's start with the promise, which is, well, it's almost limitless. I mean, imagine an AGI helping us cure diseases by analyzing biological data at speeds we can't even fathom. Picture it designing real solutions for climate change or automating all the routine work so that we're freed up to focus on creativity and connection and solving even bigger problems. It's this vision of a new renaissance, all powered by machine intelligence.
But every single one of those powerful tools, it has a dark side. The same intelligence that could design cures could also design bioweapons. The same systems that connect us could be twisted for mass manipulation. But the ultimate fear, the one that really keeps experts up at night, is a total loss of control, creating something so powerful that we just can't steer it anymore, with consequences we can't even begin to predict.
And please, don't mistake this for science fiction. This is real. A recent evaluation actually asked an advanced AI model to come up with plans for creating biological threats. The result? Well, it was chilling. Its plans were rated as being better than those from PhD-level human experts 72% of the time. So yeah, these dangerous capabilities, they aren't in some far-off future. They are emerging right now.
This is the shadow that kind of looms over the entire field, the concept of the singularity. It's this hypothetical point of no return, where an AI's intelligence starts to grow exponentially, improving itself so rapidly that it triggers an irreversible transformation of human civilization, for better or for worse.
So with stakes this incredibly high, the race is on. And it's not just a race to build AGI, but to build the guardrails. How do we make sure this powerful technology actually serves humanity instead of harming it?
All around the world, the response is finally kicking into gear. Governments, ethicists, even the tech companies themselves are now scrambling to write the rules of the road for this new technology. But the central question is, can they possibly move fast enough to keep up with the sheer pace of innovation?
The European Union's AI Act is one of the world's first major attempts to do just that, and it takes this risk-based approach. So first, it bans applications that are deemed just unacceptable, things like government social scoring. Next, it puts really strict regulations on high-risk areas like hiring and medicine. And then for everything else, the key mandate is transparency. You should always know if you're talking to a bot.
But top-down regulation is only one piece of the puzzle. There's this growing movement arguing for a fundamental shift in how we even build AI in the first place. This means tearing down the walls between the computer scientists and the ethicists, giving the public a real voice in development, and weaving human values like fairness and safety into the very code from day one.
Okay, finally, let's bring this all back to our daily lives. Because whether we solve the safety problem or not, this whole quest is already starting to reshape our world in a very, very tangible way. The economy.
Economists are seeing 4 potential futures unfolding, and it really all boils down to 2 huge questions. First, how fast do businesses adopt this technology? And second, who gets the profits? The answers to those 2 questions could lead anywhere from a shared upswing of broad prosperity all the way to a deeply unequal oligarchic boom where all the wealth is concentrated in the hands of just a few.
And the timeline for this kind of disruption, it's startlingly short. I mean, listen to this. Dario Amodei, he's the CEO of AI leader Anthropic, recently predicted that 50%, half of all entry-level white-collar jobs, your analysts, your paralegals, your junior developers, could just be automated away in the next 1 to 5 years. That's not far away.
As for when a full AGI might actually arrive, well, the predictions are all over the map. They range from just a few years from now to decades away. But if you look at the trend over time, there's one thing most experts seem to agree on. That timeline keeps getting shorter and shorter. And so that's where we're left. The quest for AGI is no longer a matter of if, it's really a matter of when. We are on a journey that is forcing us to confront the very future of our species. And the only question that really remains is, are we prepared for what we find?